Howdy folks, it's Camo here. Long time no see. Sorry for taking so long to get a video up, guys. It's been a fairly hectic last couple of months with obviously Christmas and that, and with all this COVID stuff. It's made it incredibly hard and time consuming to order stuff off the internet to get parts, etc. So I used to have a very old GoPro. My last couple of films that I've recorded have been on, I think it's like a GoPro Hero 3, so it's fairly old. So I thought I'd spend a bit of money and upgrade, and I got myself the latest GoPro Hero 9. So yeah, it took about a month to rock up, and when it did, I soon realised that I had to get what they call the media mod for the camera. So that I could run an external mic so that you guys could hear me while I'm underway, obviously. So having to order that and wait for that to come, it was on back order as well. A couple of months later I've got everything together, and then of course we had Christmas and leave and so forth and lockdowns and all sorts of things with this COVID. So either way, I'm back, I'm here. I've done a few more mods to the motorbike since we last talked. Not a whole heap, but I've done a few. I've installed a centre stand, and that was a bit of an issue in itself because I've got the lowering foot pegs adjustment on this bike. It's an addition that you can buy. They're not compatible with the centre stand, so I made it compatible, if that makes sense. So with a few bushes and a couple of washers, I made it compatible, and now I've got a centre stand on the bike. I've removed the old stand, and now I've got a centre stand, which is great. You can access the back wheel in case of a flat tyre. You can oil the chain by yourself without having to lean the bike over on its side, etc, etc. So something I've sort of wanted for a while, and again, that was on back order. Gee, I hope this is coming through alright, because it's incredibly windy here today. So that was on back order. I had to wait about 2 months for that to come in. I think the brand is motech. I'll confirm that later on. I'll actually show you guys the centre stand and how I installed it, etc. Well, not how I installed it, but how it's installed. I also upgraded the bars. So the Oxford heated grip on the left hand side came loose after my trip north. So I thought that was a good idea, or was a good excuse to change the bar over, and I've sort of changed the displays over a bit here too. So I've upgraded to a 7/8 SE bar, and it's straight away you can feel it's so much, I don't know, a lot more rigid, a lot more, I know it sort of sounds a bit funny, but it feels stronger in your hands. It's a slightly different design to the original too. I don't think it has quite so much sort of splay on the ends, so it's a little bit straighter. It's the Carmichael version, I think. But yeah, either way, it took me literally half a day to put it on because I had so much stuff here. Had to rip it all off, put it back on, and I'm glad I've done it, because now I know if I drop it, I'm not going to bend the original steel bars that I had on it. And that was just, yeah, that was something on the back of my mind, especially when I was remote, that I thought, you know, if I slide out here and I land on the bars, that's it, it's game over. So I'm really happy that I've done that. So they're the two things that I've done since I've last talked to you. And certainly, I think if you're sort of getting one of these bikes, or you're looking at getting one of these bikes, and you're going to do some remote touring, where you're going to need to be able to inspect your chain, potentially have to change a tyre by yourself, it saves you from having to go and find a down tree to lean the bike up on to get access to your rear wheel. What we're going to do today is I'm actually going to take you out to my old stomping grounds. So as a kid, we used to live out in a farm at the back of the Barossa, so I'm going to take you out there. There's a couple of nice, well, the road to the farms, it's quite hilly and some beautiful views. And here we are, folks. Old stomping grounds. This road's a couple k's long. I used to ride on it most days, push bike that is, to school or to the bus stop to then go to high school. So I've been on this road many a time. Also did a fair bit of shooting when I was younger as well, so hunted a lot of rabbits and foxes through here. You'll get a fairly nice view of the Barossa as well at one of the top of the hills up here. That hill was an absolute bitch in summer to ride up, by the way. So this sort of riding is what the DR laps up on, you know, I believe anyway. The nice open stuff, nothing too tight. All these trees you see here we planted. When we first moved out here there was nothing, all bare. So these trees would be 25 years old, I guess. Yeah, it'd be near enough, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be 25, maybe 26, 27 years old. There you go, some good views. She gets fairly windy up here at certain times of the year. Snake heaven too. God, the amount of snakes that we came across out here, unbelievable. This here was the road I learned to ride on as a kid. And there's the vineyard. And that's it. She's now called something else. Oh, the old spray unit still there. God. Used to jump that hill there on the RM125. I don't know how fast I was going. Obviously a lot quicker than I am now. As I said, these sorts of roads, DR just loves. Just eats up. So that's the end of the adventure anyway, folks. Before I shut down, I might just pull up here and I'll show you the centre stand. And to be honest, it's not that hard to pull up either. I've done it in thongs, so there we are. So you can see what I mean. This is the lowering kit here that brings the foot peg back and drops it down. And when I got the paperwork for this, SW Motech is what they're called. When I got the paperwork for this, they said, you know, warning, this is not compatible with the foot peg lowering kit. And I thought, oh my god, you've got to be joking. But I made it work. Like I said, a couple of bushes and a few washers, and I made it work. So, and it works incredibly well, as you can well see. I took off the side stand because I just thought, well, it's extra weight that you probably don't really need. Saying that, it is handy, you know, if you're coming and opening and closing gates and stuff, just to throw the side stand down rather than have to lift the bike all up. But nonetheless, it's done. And there's the old girl in all her glory. Oh, now I had a gentleman on YouTube say, why don't you pull the front windshield out a little bit, space it out. And after the ride I did north, I noticed that my brake tubing here that runs from the brake reservoir down to the disc was actually rubbing on the screen, and I thought, oh, that's not a good idea. So I did. I found some spaces. I don't know if you can see that or not. I spaced it out. They're spaced out about 3/4 of an inch. And now, when I sit in the bike and I ride and I hit sort of fairly heavy sort of rocks and you know, up and down sort of type thing, yeah, it's missing the front windscreen now, which is really, really cool. So I'm happy I did that, and thanks to the gentleman that suggested it. I can't remember his name, but yeah. So I'm pretty happy with the old girl, guys. Hope to do some more adventures soon, and I hope to God that this video turns out alright, because as I said, new camera, media mod with a mic. This is the first time I've tested it. So alright folks, I'll leave it to you. Until next time, you take it easy. Cheers.